Hello, I'm a countryman, uh, but I like to watch traveller fights on YouTube. I find them very fascinating to watch. They're very intense affairs, and I have a lot of respect for these travelling men who decide to settle their differences with a bare knuckle fight, unlike people from my culture, which is the settled culture, the countrymen's culture, where if we have a problem with somebody, sometimes, well, a lot of times we take the other person to court. We go through litigation, which is very expensive, makes a lot of fat cat lawyers even fatter, richer. So, who wants that? Litigation has ruined our society, whereas maybe if we were to settle our differences like these travelling men, with just fists and then shake hands afterwards, takes a lot more courage, bravery to do, and a lot, well, less money, I suppose. But anyway, apart from that, I'm going to talk about the present situation between the Joyces and the McGinleys as I see it as a countryman. Uh, More specifically, I'm going to talk about Simon McGinley versus Joyce Jr., the young Hulk. Well, what can I say about Joyce Jr., the young Hulk, Joyce? He is, in my opinion, of all the young fighters I've seen on YouTube, of the travelling men, probably the best. He is the most ferocious, the most courageous, the most determined to win I've seen. I've only seen him in 3 fights. I don't really want to mention too much about the names of the guys that he was fighting, just out of respect for them. Uh, But from what I can determine, he won the first fight and he drew the second 2 fights. And these were all very very powerful men he was fighting. And he's just Joyce Jr. is just something else to watch. He's, as I say, he's got an awesome ferocity about him. He's fast, he's courageous, he's determined. He wants to win. Uh, As regards the other fella, Simon McGinley, or Simey as he wants to be known, um, he says he's the young king. Personally, I don't know why. He seems to think he's the young king. I've only ever seen him fight one guy. Again, I don't want to mention the guy's name, but everybody knows, I think, who he is. Uh, Now, the person that Simey fought was a guy that was minding his own business, didn't cause Simey any trouble, and Simey threatened to go up to his house and break his jawbones and everything if he didn't come out and fight him. For no real reason. And fair play to this guy. He decided, I'm taking you on. I'll fight you. I'll be a gentleman and I'll be decent enough to fight you. Even though he didn't want to fight him. But Simey insisted that he fight him. Gave him no choice. Now, the guy Simey fought, Simey beat him after 10 minutes. Um, I don't think the guy that Simey fought was really. I don't think he wanted to fight in the first place. I don't think he really was even that interested if he won the fight or not. And he certainly looked to me like he was caught on the hop. He was overweight. He was fat. He was smaller. He wasn't Simey's match, and Simey knew it. So for Simey to go around and say he's the young king, just on that fight alone, just seems to me to be utter bullshit. And now Simey, in this countryman's opinion, if you want to prove yourself as someone who is the young king, or maybe not the young king, because I don't think there is any young kings anymore in the traveling community, but you have to fight a good man, like Joe has fought 3 good men, and you have to have video evidence of that. And so far, Simey, there's no evidence from what we can see. Your brothers, it seems to me, like Trevor and Barney, they've fought good men. In fairness, they have fought good men. Even that younger brother of yours that fought the young Price lad in the shopping centre, He fought a good man. But you, Simey, you haven't fought, from what I could see, really good men. Your father has fought good men. Joyce Jr., the young Hulk, has fought good men. So, in order for you to call yourself the young king, I think that you should accept Joyce Jr.'s challenge. He wants to fight you. He sent for you. But in fact, it seems to me that you were the one that sent for him first. Back in 2012, you were with your brothers drinking in some site in Dublin, and you were all drunk, and you were calling out names and a lot of abuse and all this kind of shite hawking. And you said things to Joe like, "Come out in front of me, Joyce, and I'll bait you. You, Joe, with the one arm and with the voice like your mother is Alice," and all this kind of shit. And you sent for him. You said, "Joe, come out and fight. I'll show you. I've got skill. I've got class." You were talking like Muhammad Ali on drugs or something. You were full of shit. Full of chicken shit, actually. But, so, you basically sent for him. Joe said he'd fight you, and then you said you'd only fight him if he came to England. So that fight never happened. Joe has sent for you so many times since. Every time you come up with a bullshit excuse. First, you tell him to come to Appleby in 7 months' time. We all know that's bullshit because nobody needs 7 months' time to train. And we know that you want him to fight in Appleby because you'll have your crowd there. Then you tell him you'll fight him for 50 grand or 100 grand. Now, we all know that that's another strategy to try and discourage Joe from fighting. That's an awful lot of money. That's a bullshit amount of money. But Joe said he'd fight you for 20. Then you say you'll fight Joe in 4 days' time on the 5th of January. That is so fucking unfair as well. Nobody fights with just 4 days' notice. Your fate, Joe's not. So you're looking for all sorts of reasons to get out of this fucking fight. That's what it seems to me. This country fella is telling you that. I'm surprised, to be honest with you, your own brothers aren't actually disappointed with you for not fighting. At least they fought good men. I mean, Jesus, Paddy Jaws Ward, one of the toughest guys out there in the travelling community, has said that Barney McGinley gave him one of the best fights ever, if not the best. I think he even said afterwards that he said to Barney, "You're the second best man around." Like, your brothers, your fathers have fought good men. You haven't. You should take this fucking fight, Simey. So I think that's pretty much all I have to say. I'm surprised that there isn't more people. I mean, even your cousin, is it Michael Quinn McDonough, the Cowboys Michael? Like, I don't want to mention too many names, but I mean, the impression I get is he didn't really want to fight Joe either when Joe sent for him. But he was the best man of the Quinn McDonoughs, and Joe sent for him, and Quinn McDonough, fair play to him, Cowboys Michael, went out and fought. Now, you should do the same, Simey, especially if you're the one saying that you're the king. If Trevor or Barney or any of the lads don't want to fight the other Joyce's brothers, I believe that that's their choice. They fought good men, and they don't have to go out and fight. But I think Simon McGinley should go out and fight because he's so he's been antagonising Joyce Jr. for the last 2 years, saying he wants to fight him, saying this, saying that, and he keeps chickening out every fucking opportunity he gets. So that's just, as I say, I'm a countryman. That's just my opinion. I can't say much more than that. And look, personally, I'd be disappointed if the fight didn't go ahead. So that's it, right? Thanks for tuning in, guys.